Hello everyone, it's me Pavlo, and here is your retrospective daily dose of Ukrainian accent. Today I am going to take a look at model that is not new. It's TinHiFi T5S, codenamed Mars. I did some internet archaeology and they were released somewhere at the beginning of 2024 or a bit earlier, so they are more than 2 years old now. They are still available for $130 and it's a single dynamic driver model with a 10mm driver with ultralinear diaphragm. Logic suggests that earphones don't outdate as fast as modern smartphones or computers, video cards, and stuff like that. But it's still pretty interesting to find out what these earphones can offer in today's world and how do they stand the trial of time. If you are interested too, welcome to this review. Box is pretty interesting. This art reminds me all the VGA games for DOS and old sci-fi books covers, something like that, and probably it's intended reference here. Inside of this box, we're getting main package. As usual, it's a bit tightly sliding, but let's do it carefully. So give me 1 second more. So nice box with everything well organized, so pleasant unboxing experience. On top we have earpieces and cleaning tool, pair of Twizzlers, and then diving inside we getting snow white case. Not the most practical color for everyday usage, but definitely looks attractive. So inside you'll get stock cable, set of spare filters to replace with the Twizzlers, and a nice set of different tips. Despite the years passed since the release of this model, they still looks really nice and well built. Bigger part of shell is made of metal and faceplates are made of some kind of plastic probably, but at the same time it reminds me graphite or some other mineral. I'm not sure whether the camera shows that or not, but at different angles you can see different patterns on faceplate. With some angles it's kind of vertical stripes, and at other angles it looks just some random dots noise pattern. And silver caption TinHiFi adds a bit of a nice glow to this. And I can admit that it's not something shiny, but really eye-catching when you know how to look at it. Shape is really ergonomic, they fitting nicely into ears, at least my ears. Everything is smooth and well polished. Spouts have really nice length and proper angle, and sound isolation is above average, even passive one. There are 2 vent holes to provide enough of breathing room for the driver inside. There is a lip for holding the tips and protective grille, so all elements are on their places, and overall build looks really well. Cables are made replaceable. Here used 2-pin connectors, no recessed sockets or some fancy pins or something like that. Just standard and traditional 2-pin approach. Pretty nice fitting connectors and good interesting stock cable, because it uses 2 colors and 2 different designs of wires, because silver wire is kind of spiral braided and the black wire is more straight inside of their insulation. Then it goes to the splitter with chin slider, as you can see, also a bit unusual design, and then it goes braided down to the regular 3.5mm jack. So it was the times when replaceable jack was not a big thing and was not really popular. But for these models, regular single-ended termination makes sense because they don't require tons of power. Overall, I'd say that design is pretty attractive. Sound-wise, TinHiFi selected an interesting approach for T5S. They are slightly on the warm and analog side of sound, but at the same time, thanks to well-defined upper mids, they sound more balanced but still comfortable. It's not some audiophilic model with focus on the maximum detailization, speed, and nuances. It's more tuned for enjoyable and relaxed listening, but also not typical laid-back warm model. But let's talk step by step. Bass is pleasant, especially if you like a hint of additional weight. It has nice depth, and deeper bass is present but not dominating. I'd say that it's about on par with mid bass. And to me, it's not a perfect option because I prefer when mid bass is forward and the deeper bass is slightly recessed. But here we have about the equal amounts, and that gives more foundation to the sound. But it's not as bad as cases when deeper bass is dominating over everything. It sounds nice and organic. Amount of small nuances is slightly reduced, but still instruments sound pleasant. But at the same time, you're getting a bit of that feeling that instruments are pushed forward and slightly exaggerated in size. Sometimes it works as a plus, sometimes it makes sound less realistic, but still really enjoyable type of tuning. And first example is Suzy by Caravan Palace. All the nice, good electro swing with punchy bass line, and these earphones deliver it with a great sense of engagement, and at the same time building nice contrast between bass and mid frequencies. And Private Investigations by Dire Straits, nice, good first half with clean guitars and vocal, and the second part with this monotone bass guitar note is also pretty fun and enjoyable. You're getting a nice amount of nuances for that bass guitar. Mid frequencies have a warm coloration on the lower part and are boosted on the upper part. So sometimes you're just getting a bit of extra weight for the vocals and body for the instruments, which sound nice. Sometimes they slightly laid back, and on the complex tracks like metal, for example, bass guitar will be dominating over the rest. But thanks to forward upper mids, you at the same time getting interesting above the average stage, both in width and in depth, and also good sense of presence and aggression. So interesting type of tuning, pretty enjoyable, but of course not trying to be natural or natural. It's more about fun than precision. First example is Audition by Jethro Tull, and the vocal here sounds nicely, and the guitars are slightly warmer than they should be, but not overdone. And On My Way by Louis Armstrong, and it's the case when these headphones absolutely hit the spot because here we're getting really nice full-bodied vocal and enough of details for the accompanying instruments. Treble is reduced in terms of energy and slightly laid back. They have above average extension, but not super extended. And overall treble is pretty comfortable. If you're sensitive to lower treble and upper mids, they can be a bit sharp to you, but to my ears, they didn't exceed the threshold of being uncomfortable. And at the same time, technical side of treble is pretty nice. Good detailization, proper attacks and decays. Of course, no things like layering, but overtone saturation is nice. And at the same time, no harsh or metallic sounding in the treble area. So they are not critical for the quality of records in this aspect. And I have, as usual, two examples. First one is Lady Hawk, Bishop's Procession. I like this soundtrack. It's my guilty pleasure. I like synthesizers and the music of that era, but this track is more about Gregorian singing, and it gives you nice overtones in the treble area. This earphones lacks treble a little bit to give you that full sense of resonance of such chorus, but at the same time still sounding pretty enjoyable thanks to that clean and nice upper mids. And Dark is the Night for All by Aha. Synthesizers, vocal overtones goes to the treble area, and they have enough of presence and performance to sound pretty okay. They won't give you like shivers because of treble performance, but also they won't give you some cat scratch fever because of some sharp sibilance. So overall, pretty nice balanced earphones if you want a fun type of sounding. In terms of pairing, these earphones don't require some huge amounts of power or something like that, but at the same time, I'd say that they are pretty critical to the source because they definitely prefer something natural and technical. You can try experiment with some colored sources, but because these earphones have their own character, combinations could be unpredictable in many cases. So sometimes it can be marvelous, but sometimes horrendous. Speaking about the comparisons, to be honest, they are really different from any other model. Maybe they remind me a little bit FIO's FD15, but FIO is slightly less forward in the upper mids, but more forward in the treble area. While here you're getting more presence and less high frequencies. To summarize everything, probably it's not the pair worth buying without trying first. If it is your first model, or if you thinking about buying them as the only model. But at the same time, if you have some free money and or not free money, spare money is probably a better word here, and you want to try some unusual earphones, it can be an interesting option for you. Thank you for listening, thank you for your attention, and have a great day.